everybody, and welcome back inside the State Champ Studio. As always, alongside former Michigan State Spartan and head coach at Turn 2, Mackenzie Long. My name is Kara Lyles. Kenzie, we're just about 2-3 weeks away from the tournament starting, and we've had, our good teams kind of make themselves known. They're playing well. They have been playing well all season. But I want to ask you to start off, are there any dark horse teams that you see making a run as we get closer to the tournament?
Yeah, I think the teams that have quality pitching is going to be the teams that are going to be the dark horses, right? So Milan has a great pitcher on the mound. They're going to be a dark horse, right? Goodrich with Jaden Ghost on the mound. They're going to be a dark horse. So when you have a pitcher that can throw up zeros, all it takes is one. And so those teams that maybe aren't ranked yet and or kind of seeing like they're playing quality competitions are going to be the teams that come from behind and be a dark horse because of their pitching.
Well, you talk about good pitching. Let's recap a couple games that had incredible pitching. Let's start off with Mercy and Saline doubleheader. Crazy, right?
Yeah, that was a great game. The first game of that doubleheader came down to the last out in the last inning, bottom of the seventh. And what I love about that game is Mercy's finding ways to win, right? In that last inning, they were able to get 2 back-to-back hits. And then what they did was they did a bunt, right? They sacrificed bunt over, and all it took was one mistake, right? And one pitch that created a single through the left side that scored a run.
What is clicking for Mercy right now? They've passed every test so far, What is it that's really having them mesh together well?
I think they're a selfless team. They have a lot of really good players on that team. They have Kat Burris, they have Charlie Lambert, they have Sophia Chappitt, they have Evelyn Miller, they obviously have Caitlin Palazzi. But for them, it's like Camille Crane came in and she did a sacrifice bunt, right? And for me, that's so huge because when you have players that are willing to give up their at-bats to score the run, that's what's going to be important for them in the long-term ability to win a state championship. And for them, that's what they missed last year, and they have that this year.
Another great game that we had this week was Allen Park beating Woodhaven 10-2. Very strong offensive performance from Allen Park.
Yeah, that was a great game. In that game, Max Satarski went 4 for 4, and she's that table setter for them. She is huge, and Kylie Carr had a great game. Avery Garden had a great game. But like we talked about last year, Mallory Houle is a difference maker for them. And I think, she had 4 RBIs in that game, and I love that for them. In that game, they had 7 stolen bases. Maya Brandenburg went 4 for 4 in that game, but the Ashton, who came in to pinch run for her, stole 3 bases. And so when you have players that are coming off the bench and able to impact the game, you're going to go far. And again, that's a huge win for them. But what I love about that is they put up runs, which they didn't do in the Trenton game.
Well, as we get closer to the tournament, the little things start to become more apparent. Like you said, a pinch runner here or there is enough to take teams to that next level, right?
100%. And I think that's where you're going to see when teams start to separate themselves, right? Is do they have a depth in their roster, in their lineup, on the bench, and things like that. And a stolen base is huge, right? And so I want players to never take away their impact in a game. If you're a base runner, own it and go do your job and steal base. But I'd be remiss without talking about Mel Filipiak's game on that game. She outpitched Grace Usher, and for her to be able to do that, that's for Allen Park to be able to make a run again. She is going to be huge for them on the mound, and so that was a great confidence builder for her.
Well, this week we are so excited. We have a new team at number 1, Mercy, now holding that number 1 spot. Kenzie, what went into that decision to move them up?
They have so many quality wins, right? They have wins against Saline, Trenton, South Lyon, Allen Park, you name it, and they've played them. And that's what I love from Mercy this year is they're not running from competition. They're welcoming it, encouraging it, and they're putting their players in a position to be successful. When you have the goal and the desire to win a state championship like they do, the way to do that is playing the best early on to see what you have. And they've done that, and they've passed every test. I mean, every pitcher that you've thrown at them, they've been able to hit, and Palazzi's been able to settle down the defense and the offense.
And a huge confidence builder going into it. I feel like in the years past, sometimes they might have not necessarily question themselves, but when they're in games like that, to be able to go out there and win this year.
100%. And I think last year for them, they didn't play quality competition right away.
Right.
So they put their offense in a tough situation because now you're expecting them to score runs against who won our state champs player of the year last year, Kylie Swarkos,
right,
when they lost to Heartland. But now, they face the pitchers that are like probably the best in our state in South Lyon's Ava Bradshaw, right? And Mel's and Gaylord's Aubrey Jones, right? And so when you can put your offense in a position to see multiple pitchers throughout the year, then they're going to roll when they get into the postseason, because you already know Caitlin's going to be Caitlin, but you need to score runs in order to win, and they're putting their position in to do that.
Only going to help, right?
Yes.
I mean, the experience going in, just feeling better about yourself and your team's ability, it's only going to help you in the long run.
Correct. And I think what I love about team offense, right, and we talk about team offense all the time, right, is when you go up to bat, you're not on your own. You're together. You're a team. You're able to, what can I do to pass the bat to help the person behind me be better? And you're seeing that with Mercy, right? Like I said, they have leadership, but then they have young players, right? And I think like Sophia Chaput, their leadoff is a 2026. She's going to be a highly sought out player for, you know, college coaches, but she's like kind of fresh and new, right? But then you have Kat Burris behind the plate, who's a senior. And I think when you're able to have a team offense like they do, they deserve our number one spot. And they're also, you know, the favorites to win the state championship.
We're definitely excited to see when that time comes, but we also have another new team joining our list in Traverse City Central. What do you like out of them?
I do. I like them. They're kind of hidden up there, you know, and they're 15-1 on the year. They have a really important game tonight, but they have this pitcher in Cameron Craig that's committed to Dayton, but she is so good on the mound, but she's also awesome in the box, right? And she leads their team in batting average, home runs. She's kind of their it player, but they have a supporting cast in Audrey Williams and Hannah Fellows and Grace Carey. You know, Grace Carey, I love that kid behind the plate, and when you have a really good pitcher, you need a great catcher, and they have that in Grace Carey as well.
And they're facing great opponents as well, right?
Yeah, and they
just talked about that.
They play Gaylord tonight, right? And that's a huge game for them, and I'm excited to see how that shakes out, because again, you don't have to win to progress. Right. And I think that's where teams, you know, think of win-loss records. You can lose and play great and build confidence. And I can see that happening for both Gaylord and for Traverse City Central tonight.
It's definitely going to be a good one. We're going to have our eyes on that one. Just a quick congratulations again to Mercy and Traverse City Central for joining our top 10 list. As always, you can see that full list at statechampsw.com. Well, not only did we have changes to our top 10 list, we've also got some changes to our Player of the Year list. 2 new faces this week. How about Jaden on there?
Jaden Ghost. I mean, if you know her, you know she's a power pitcher. She loves to be on the mound, but she has 9 home runs on the year with 5 grand slams. This year, she's kind of on her own without Brooklyn as the home run leader for their team, but so they're pitching around her a lot. So now she's only getting the opportunity when the bases are loaded, and she's showing up with 5 grand slams. It's wild. But as a pitcher, she's thrown 76 innings, and she has 179 strikeouts on the year. She is a power pitcher. She has the ability to carry a team far. And when she continues to impact the game offensively, defensively, she shuts offenses down. She throws and commands really well. She's 11 walks on the year. So again, she's just finding the zone and throwing it well. And she really deserves a spot.
I'm not sure people understand how difficult it is to do both so successfully. Like, that's huge.
Yeah, and she hits the ball hard. Like, she loves to hit just as much as she loves to pitch. And when she wants to be in the box, when the team needs her, that's why she has 5 grand slams on the year. For me, clutch, right? I love the clutch factor. Being an impact player and being clutch, and she's able to do that. She's able to do that on the mound when she needs to strike out important players, and she's able to do that on offense for her team right now.
Well, another new face that we have added to our Player of the Year list is Madison Diekman from Vicksburg. What is her bread and butter?
Yeah, she's a speed kid. You know, she really does a good job stealing bases, scoring runs. She's an impact player for their team. And for me, Vicksburg has a chance to go far. Like, I do think they can put up a fight against Gaylord, but they're not going to be able to do that without Diekman. Offensively, she's a phenomenal player, batting .675 on the year, but defensively, she changes the game for them. And so when you can do that game after game after game and score consistently, you deserve a spot. And she's committed to Central. She's a great player, and I'm excited to see how her season unfolds.
And just one thing I want to point out quick is with adding these new players at this point in the season, it kind of goes to show you that, you know, anybody can be in and anybody can make an impact at any time, right?
Yeah, I think impact is a great word to use, because for me, impact is what we're looking for. Yep. There's a ton of phenomenal players in the state of Michigan. I mean, up and down. But when you can make an impact game after game after game, and it doesn't always have to be in the box or on the mound, right? Yep. I want to see you make an impact as a teammate, as a defensive player, as the way you rally and help your team around you. And when you can do that game after game, it's really, really hard for us to not salute you and put us on our list, because impact matters, but impact doesn't always mean statistical categories. And for both of these players, they're the leaders on their team. They're going to be the reason that they can go far in the playoffs. And for that, that's the impact that we're looking for.
For sure. Well, congratulations to Madison and Jaden. And as always, you can see our full list at statechampsw.com. And always, just a reminder, whoever is leading our online vote can never be removed from our list. So you can do that and vote at statechampsw.com. Well, we've got some huge games coming up. One of them happening right now. We have Gaylord and Traverse City Central top 10 matchup.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge game. What I love about that is you have travel teammates going at it, right? And Aubrey Jones, Jaden Jones, Alexis Shepard are teammates with pitcher Cameron Craig on Traverse City Central. I think that game is more important for Traverse City Central because it's going to put them in the position to play the best quality opponent that they've played this far. And we don't need to see instant success. We don't need to see a win, but what we need to see is fight. And if we can see fight, that's going to be huge for them and their run. And I think, I'm excited to see how that game shakes out.
Well, we've got another good one to look forward to, a rematch of Trenton at number 5 Allen Park tomorrow. Kenzie, do we have a prediction this time?
Yeah, again, last time Trenton won, and I see Allen Park coming on top on this one again. When we talk about the 4, right, that the top 4 of the lineup for Allen Park, right? The big 3 that we keep talking about, but then now we add Mallory Houle to that. Last time they didn't perform very well, and I don't see them being held down twice. I just don't. They're too competitive. They're too gritty. Kylie Carr will do her thing. Avery Garden will do her thing. Max Satarski will do her thing. And then you have Mel Philippak is going to provide quality pitching on the mound because she's starting to gain confidence and she's starting to gain trust by her teammates. And so I do see Allen Park running away with that one, but last time I was wrong, so you never know.
Well, another matchup that I personally am super excited for, Vicksburg and Mercy.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. I think that's a more important game for Vicksburg, right? They're not going to play each other in the state championship, so I think it's really important for Vicksburg to realize they're not trying to beat Mercy or Caitlin Palazzi. What they're trying to do is make a deep run. And so that starts with confidence and putting together a quality game against a great pitcher, because reality of the situation is they didn't score many runs last year against Aubrey Jones. So what they need to do is know what they have against Caitlin Palazzi so they can make that run when they go to a state championship this year. They have a combination of power versus speed, right? They have players like Madison Diekman, Ellie Luigi that is going to be able to put the speed on the stolen bases and things like that, but they also have great power in Delaney Monroe and things like that. And so when we can combine that, I'm excited to see how they're going to be able to perform against Palazzi because speed never slumps, and they have 2 players that can beat you with speed.
I like that. Speed never slumps. It's
Yes,
true,
it
though,
is.
right?
It is.
Everything else you can kind of fall into a slump pretty easily. But
Correct.
Speed never
Correct.
goes away.
All you do is get on and you find ways to make something happen. And
move
they have 2 players that can do that, and I love that for them, right? And I want to see what that comes through when you're playing somebody that's a power pitcher, right? Just tap the ball and go.
We talked about it earlier, how important, the little things are, and speed is clearly one of them.
It is. The home runs are going to happen, but you can't rely on home runs. And so you need to be able to put runs up, and that can come from, a bunt single and a stolen base, and now a single up the middle counts as a run.
We've also got a little bit of East versus West happening this weekend. Madonna is hosting an East versus West round robin on Saturday. What are you looking for out of that one?
Yeah, I like that. I like that for the teams on both sides, right? Because both of them are quality teams, and both of them have a chance to make a little bit run, right? You have Walled Lake Northern, Stony Creek, and Divine Child on the east, but then you have Matawan, Portage Central, and Vicksburg on the west. And so for me, the east has the pitching, right? You have Turmel on the mound for Walled Lake Northern, you have Erin Flynn on the mound for Stony Creek, and you have Jessica Nelson on the mound for Divine Child. But are they going to be able to hold off the offensive power on the west side? And that's what I'm looking forward to is as we continue to progress, it's easier when you're playing teams that you kind of know each other, but these are teams that they don't know each other. And so they're going to go in kind of blinded, and they're going to have to find their team offense.
All right, well, we mentioned how far into the season we are, but at this point, do you have any advice for teams that have, kind of found their groove? They're kind of, riding out that wave right now.
Yeah, I love that for them. My advice would be don't settle, right? Don't settle, and don't become internally focused, right? Don't look at your stats. Don't care about what you're doing individually. Care about what you're doing as a team because it's working. And so as we continue to progress, find ways that's going to help you be successful when you're in the state championship tournament. And like we keep talking about, it's the little details. Base running is super key, right? Because we have so many good pitchers in the state, you are going to have to find ways to score runs. And so base running is going to matter. So as you're finding your success, continue to focus on the small details.
I want to counter that with teams that maybe have not found their groove yet and they're still kind of looking to find, what works for them. Do you have any advice on trying to find that?
Yeah, I think, the cool thing about our state and the way our playoff system is ran is everybody gets involved. And so all it takes is one game and one upset to kind of get you rolling. But again, I'm going to say the same thing. Little details matter. When you're having a hard time finding your groove, then find ways to help you be successful, right? And so for a lot of teams, it's, can I build one pitch at a time? And if you're not having success just yet, that's okay. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need the home run to get you out of a slump. You don't need any of that. You need one hard hit ball at a time. You need one quality outing for a pitcher at a time, and you'll start to see that roll. And I'm excited to see those teams that maybe are struggling, but can be the teams that come from behind and maybe have some upsets.
Well, I'm no Kenzie Long. Okay, I'm not claiming to be Mackenzie Long, but my advice is to, those bats have always got to stay hot. That's my piece of advice to you guys.
Yes, and I love it. And those infielders have to keep turning too.
Swing Away is presented by Lawrence Technological University. Be curious, make magic. Swing Away is also presented to you by Turn-In-Two Softball. Continue to dream big and invest in development. Visit our website at turnin2mi.com. The Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud sponsor of the MHSAA. And the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Michigan High School Male and Female Athlete of the Year Award.